Imagine getting a phone call that fractures your life, a severe medical diagnosis, or even a sudden betrayal. Your brain's immediate, almost violent reflex is to reject the facts. You stare at the aftermath, and your will screams that this should not have happened. That friction between the blunt fact of the event and your demand that it be undone triggers an exhausting internal war. To understand this war's toll, we must separate the experience into two distinct layers. Pain is the raw, unavoidable hurt of the event itself. Suffering is the secondary layer we add through our own resistance. This bar chart represents your total daily cognitive capacity. When you scream at a reality that has already occurred, you burn your fuel in that massive red zone of friction. You leave yourself almost nothing for actual problem solving. Radical acceptance is the tool to reclaim that capacity. It functions as a ceasefire with reality, allowing you to stop bleeding your own energy. This energy management mechanism is a shared operator across ancient traditions and modern clinical psychology. They all teach a specific sorting logic. Divide reality into what you can change and what you cannot. Pouring your attention into the cannot change column is like hitting the gas pedal while your tires are stuck deep in a mud ditch. The wheels spin, the engine overheats, and you only sink deeper. To avoid that trap, ancient Stoics built their ethical system around a strictly grounded view of the world. By examining exactly what is up to us, we avoid inflating our sense of control while ensuring we don't erase our actual abilities. Sorting the world in this way identifies exactly where your power actually lives. It is a fundamental act of resource management. Most people reject acceptance because of a common cognitive mistake. They confuse an epistemic act, admitting a fact is true, with an emotional act, which is approving of that fact. You can look at a ruined career or a broken relationship and radically accept that it happened without ever declaring it good or fair or right. Think of it as a confrontation between your will and a solid wall. The wall is the physical constraint of reality. Your will is the loud insistence that the wall ought not be there. The wall is a fact. Arguing with a fact is a fast, highly efficient way to deplete your cognitive resources. You have to learn how to surrender your will to the wall. Once you accept the coordinates of your wall, you can stop headbutting the brick. That gives you the freedom to step back, look around, and find the door. In the 1980s, a clinical psychologist named Marcia Linehan was treating patients who were chronically suicidal. She discovered that standard cognitive therapy often made them feel worse. The missing prerequisite for any behavioral change, she found, was acceptance. She built a protocol called dialectical behavior therapy. The dialectic is the ability to hold two opposing truths simultaneously. I accept myself exactly as I am right now, and I am actively working to change. The therapy relies heavily on specific modules like distress tolerance and mindfulness. These skills train the brain's threat system, the amygdala, to calm down, preventing it from hijacking your rational mind during a crisis. Much of this traces back to Buddhist traditions, like the parable of the mustard seed. By acknowledging that every household experiences loss and heartbreak, the individual learns that suffering is universal. That realization breaks the isolation of pain. DBT functions as a practical protocol for crisis survival, preserving your internal resources rather than demanding a state of calm. It is about making it through the fire without making things worse. But there is a dangerous semantic slide we have to watch out for. We often start with acceptance, slide into surrender, and end up at capitulation. And as the old warning goes, capitulation is decapitation. This sketch of an armored knight positions radical acceptance as an active, protective stance, an exercise of strength rather than a sign of weakness. Mapping the battlefield accurately allows you to stop attacking ghosts. By seeing the terrain as it actually exists, you can direct your steel toward real threats. This logic starts with feeling the raw emotion and admitting the truth to yourself. That clear sight translates directly into setting firm boundaries, allowing you to flow around the obstacles you cannot break. You learn to live with injustice without becoming it. Acceptance simply maps the coordinates of where you are. Your values dictate which way you decide to walk. When you drop the demand that the past be different, the red zone vanishes. All of that reclaimed capacity floods into your action reserves. Acceptance establishes your starting coordinates, but the destination remains a matter of choice. By walking away from the war with yesterday, you secure the fuel you need to actually build tomorrow. Radical acceptance does not erase your pain. It removes the exhausting, endless war around your pain, and that is exactly where your healing begins.